like always, everything I say, any views expressed on this channel are my own, and no one that is associated or anybody that might know me. If you get secondary embarrassment, I'm sorry. But okay, sorry. I don't know. I'm waiting for the car to say, okay, please park. There you go. Now I can stop. Hello. Well, you know, when you get older, you find it a little bit harder to rest. You find it a little bit harder to just take a break and ease your troubled mind. Well, again, so let me tell you that it may make sense to some of you and it may not make any sense to some of you, but the idea is that on the fourth day, we're supposed to have Sabbath. And the Sabbath is actually a totally kind of a day of rest, just to ease your troubled mind and to ease yourself. Because, you know, ultimately God does not need rest, so don't think for a minute that somehow God needs to rest, because he doesn't. He's almost dead, but this is a good way to end the video. Yeah, that's the nature of that one. So don't be fooled. Don't think that you're more religious because you do rest. It's good to rest. So don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted, like they say, the kids say. So don't twist it and don't shout it from the rooftop, all those things. So ease your troubled mind and get some rest in your life, to take a break from the pain and strife, and then you'll see that it was a good idea, and you'll know that when you know, you do know about resting, taking a break, picking a day out of the week so you could recharge your brain batteries, all that stuff. So that's what we got.
Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Right. These are my thoughts, and I'm sharing them with the world or whoever actually will watch this. I don't know who's going to watch this, but, you know, that's just the nature of the content creation, is just putting things out there. This is kind of a supplement to a video that I made about, I made a lot of videos, and this is what I learned. Well, I think the main thing that I learned is that don't fear about missing out on things. because I've learned from my experience that I was late to the party probably. If I was making video consistently from 2008, maybe I would be somewhere by now. But the way that my mind works, even that I'm facing 50. That's what I'm calling my video on my TD Damits channel, facing 50, because well, that's what is taking place. You know, I'm going to get older. Everyone gets older, but it's just the way that you process it. And the one thing that one way that I learned to process it, sometimes you just got to take a break. You know, I've learned a long time ago that sometimes if you just sit back and just take your time, your answers will come to you. The answers are going to come. Makes resting such an important thing. Humans need sleep. We're not God. We're not some superhero. We're not some ghost. We have flesh and blood, and we need to rest. We need just to take a break. They say that you need your beauty sleep. Well, maybe I need more beauty sleep than other people, but the fact is that we all need some sleep. I've been going to bed earlier than usual. Usually I've been going to, in the past I would go to bed around like 6. Sorry. I was looking at something on the side of the road. It was a kid's toy, but anyway, that had like 6 wheels and it said 6x6. But I used to go to bed on average at midnight. Well, before then, when I was working shifts, like shifts that were like early in the morning, like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I would go to bed I would try to go to bed at 5, but I would end up falling asleep. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll fall asleep at 7. But you need to rest. You know, you probably heard stories all the time about people who don't value their rest and they end up getting really sick or dying. We're humans. We need rest. I'm just encouraging you that maybe once a week you should just take a break from your work. Not like an overindulgence, because that's the one thing, like self-care and overindulgence are two very different things. Because of course you need to take care of yourself. You need to be able to, you know, like they say that if you care for others, or if that airplane's going to crash, you got to put your oxygen on before you put someone else's oxygen on. That sounds kind of cliche, but there's a little bit of truth to it. Like just with everything, there's a little bit of truth. But my most encouraging thing is the idea that I could rest and to take a break. You need to take a break. You need to rest. You need to pick a day, at least, you know. I mean, if you have to work 6 days because your budget or for some reason you're not able to live within your means, but you have to work 6 days, by all means. I mean, to pay off bills faster, sure, work 6 days. But you got to take a day of rest. I mean, I try to not do too much on a Saturday, because Sunday morning, if I'm in church and if I'm tired, I'll be falling asleep. You don't want to be falling asleep in church, so maybe Saturday night you need to go to bed early, or just minimize the stuff you do on Saturday. I have to work Saturdays, but I get off at a decent time, so I could have enough time to rest, just take a break. You know, that's like the whole thing about, like, when you're honoring God, you got to be rested. You got to have a good sense of just your direction and your rest. Have I mentioned that you should rest? I mean, that's the one thing I've learned from living on this earth nearly 50 years. You got to value your rest. You know, like I made up the saying, it's probably true, but I think, therefore, I have anxiety. Now, if you rest your mind and just rest in God, you should be all right. So, I mean, if any of this makes any sense to you, let me know. If it doesn't, well, that's just my opinion about things. But you need to learn to rest and take a break. Pick a day that makes most sense to you and rest. But you could rest in God every day because He's the one that provides. You may think you work real hard at your job, but the job you have was given to you by God. So there's a lot of different things you gotta put in your mind about resting. So if you take anything away from this video that I did, please just rest. Find some time to take a break. You know, you can't have control over everything. You can't take care of everything. You gotta have some time. Some time to yourself. Some time to yourself. Some time to rest.